Hey everyone, welcome back to the Define channel. I am so excited to be on here with you guys today. We have an amazing session set up for you. Today, we are going over how to fill out your umbrella goal planning page, as well as how can we take those umbrella goals that we set up and break them down. So, hey Shauna, I recommend going ahead and grabbing the umbrella goal planning worksheets if you haven't done so already. Are you ready to set up your umbrella goals with us today? I like to give us all just a few moments because I have a fair amount of you registered for this live, so I want to make sure that we all get that time together. Amazing. So again, I encourage you guys, grab that umbrella goal planning worksheet at our bio, and I'll be walking you through that today. We will also take it a step further and go over how to take those long-term goals and break them down, which is a key aspect to goal planning. So it's important that we talk about it to make sure we are all clear on how we can set ourselves up for success this year. Again, just giving us all a few moments to settle on in. Hey, Tracy. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this. I don't know. Oh, not this one. I'm going to highlight that actually because I don't think I've been highlighting them. No. So I take that back. But I'm just going to give us all a few more moments here before we dive into this umbrella goal planning session today. So the things I want you guys to have is a pen, umbrella goal planning worksheet, and our planner. That's going to help you out throughout this. Okay. How is everyone's Thursday going? Oh, amazing. Okay, Shauna, I'm excited. Okay. Hey, Belle. Welcome. Okay, you guys, let's start to dive in. Okay, so I want you all to actually grab those worksheets first. That is what we're going to be doing. And also, everything that you filled out so far, whether it be on those worksheets and or your Define planner, I'm going to have us flip back a page because this is going to help us throughout. So just to introduce what's going on for anyone who is new here, I'm just going to bring this a little closer to myself. My name is Katelyn, and I am here with Define. And Define is a woman-owned business. And everything we are creating, from our signature planners to different journals and notebooks, everything is designed to help you navigate each day with purpose. Meaning, we want you to go through your days feeling intentional and satisfied because you are either on the path that's meant for you or you're figuring out what that may look like. And a part of this process for us is our umbrella goal planning. This system is incorporated into your Define planner. We also have these companion worksheets now at the link in our bio that you can grab to go alongside it. And so the point of today's class is to clarify any questions you may have when it comes to how do I decide what umbrella goals are best for me? How am I going to accomplish those goals? And what does this have to do on a monthly and weekly basis? Okay? So now that that's out of the way, I want to make sure that you also know that this is an interactive class. So if there's ever any questions, anything that comes up for you about this, just let me know. That's what this is all about. So we have already in the past workshops set up the Define Yourself page, the Define Your Year page, created our own personal mission statement, and our vision board. Now it's time to ask, okay, what do I do with all of this? The answer is we want to take what we've created and turn them into long-term goals. So step one is to take a look back at everything we've created so far. And from there, you are going to call out any focus areas. So what stands out to you in terms of keywords and phrases? For instance, and I'm going to be using colored pens. It makes it fun. And also, as we're going through this, it'll help clear things up a little more. But again, that's always optional. So I want you to take a look at your vision board first. And I want you to, alongside your personal mission statement, see what's calling out to you. I noticed right away that consistency is a big thing for us because I want to be seen as someone who is reliable. I'm flipping back to that define yourself and define your year, and I'm seeing, okay, if I want to keep doing things, well, one part of me has to be consistent. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to start by writing that down. So one of my first focus areas on this worksheet is going to be consistency. For this one, let's just grab the blue pen. So we are going to add consistency. Another example, taking a look at this, is creativity is calling out to us in all spots. It's even in our personal mission statement. So the next thing that we are going to add in, let's do creativity. Think of these as any core themes that you really value and want to focus on. Learning through knowledge, that's a big one because you want to take everything you have here. For instance, I saw one of you had baking on your vision board. What that tells me is one key area for you. I want you to write baking in step 1. It could also be knowledge, which was learning. That also I would count as growth and learning. There's no right word for this. So for me, it's going to be represented by growth and learning. The next step that you'll notice is seeing, okay, well, I actually have a priority of health, of trying to cultivate this sense of energy. You know, sometimes it's easy to feel a little drained. So how can we work on building that energy? That's another area that we're going to list. So health and energy. Okay. The other thing is, well, you will see that this was a sticker from our manifestation sheets, money. So what that calls out to me is financial stability. And lastly, I remember we talked a lot about this as well. You can see it through the tree, through the dinner table that I added right up here. Also the laughter. So that signifies to me community. So this is step 1. And I want to, just before we keep moving on, just remind you guys that these worksheets are available right now for free at the link in our bio. And I recommend grabbing them. You can join us for this class. And I'll be uploading a recording to the tube as well right after this. And so that way, once you get your own planner or you have that extra time, you can go through and rewatch to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success this year. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now we can dive into step 2. Now, this is where you are going to take those focus areas from step 1. So each of these right here, 1 through 6, again, no particular order in these. There's not like a hierarchy. It's just so you can have that opportunity to list up to 6 different areas. You might not have all 6. That is okay. So these right here, I want you to then carry over however many you have. And those are going to be your focus areas that you are then going to match to our 6 pathways. So which one's most relevant? Now you'll see here, this is that path with those 6 pathways. They are fitness, career, health and wellness, relationships, financial, and personal development. So what we are going to do is I'm going to go in order that we wrote them out to make it easier on ourselves. And I'm going to do each different one with a different color. I'm going to start by doing a green. So we are going to start with that consistency. So what you are going to do is take your number 1 and put it right down here. Now, this right here, it's not a pathway because we want to guide ourselves into setting these long-term goals. So taking a look at what consistency means to you is how you are going to decide which pathway. So for instance, in this example, it's really aligning with our personal development category. So I'm going to write personal development. Amazing. Now, the next one that we are going to write down is creativity. I'm trying to decide how I wanted to do my colors, if I actually want every single one to be different. Let me think for a second. This is what we're going to do. I am going to keep them all one color for this section. I think that that's going to keep it clear enough without overwhelming us. And then we will start to do more color coding as time goes on. But I want to start with this one color because we're not too far in yet. So now I want you to take that creativity, whatever your number 2 is. And again, if any questions come up, just let me know. I'm always happy to help you out. Creativity is our number 2. Now, this is going to be different for everyone. Remember, you don't have to fill out every single umbrella goal pathway right now. You might not. That is a-okay. For instance, creativity for us is going to also fall under that personal development category. So I'm going to say personal development. Next, number 3, growth and learning. When it comes to that growth and learning in terms of our goals, I want you to think about what part of your life are you really implying that you want this to apply to. For instance, for some of you, it might be personal development for growth and learning. Maybe you're trying to learn about different concepts outside of your work environment. In this example, our growth and learning is going to take place in the career pathway. So I'm going to connect this with career. But that's just an example of how one focus area for me could apply to a different pathway for you. There's no right or wrong. Also, Belle, thank you for liking this. I appreciate you. Number 4, we have health and energy. For this, it's going to fall under the fitness pathway. I could see a world in which it might apply to your health and wellness energy. Again, no right or wrong. Now, we also talked about that financial stability. So, of course, we do already know that that's going to fall under the financial pathway. And then lastly, community. Now, when we say community, that really falls under relationships. Building those bonds and connections, whether it's through volunteering or your circle. Amazing, you guys. That is step 2. Now, here is where you get to turn those pathways, turn those focus areas, and make them umbrella goals. So let me walk you through this. Now, umbrella goals is our term here at Define for your long-term goals. So you are going to take the focus areas in step 2, these right here, and you are going to take the pathways right here on this side, carry them down, and choose an umbrella goal to help you with that pathway. Keeping these focus areas in mind. Now, the reason you want to do this is because having these umbrella goals set up is how you are going to start to visualize your path for the upcoming year. And I'm not going to have you transfer them into your planner quite yet. I want us to accomplish this before we do that. So let's start off with number 1, personal development. Here's where I'm going to start to do a little bit of that color coding. I am going to have each pathway that we talk about be a different color. So for personal development, I am thinking we do orange. So personal development. Now, ask yourself, what is it that I really want to accomplish within this personal development pathway that helps me build that consistency as well? An example of this is going to be, something that's really important that I would love to accomplish and master is how I can start to have an evening routine that works for me. So, umbrella goal, you could also, hold that thought. Establish and maintain an evening routine. Now, a key thing that you'll notice here is, you see how here we have that parenthesis S? That is because you have the opportunity to set more than one goal here. For example, another personal development goal that helps a lot with consistency and one that really matters to us here at Define is reading. And so I have a goal of reading 24 books this year. So I am going to also write read 24 books. You could add a third. We're going to leave it at 2. Amazing. The next one is going to be, I'm also going to carry down that personal development goal. So I'm going to grab that orange pen once again. However, this time, we are going to focus more on the creative aspect. Because up here, we knew that in personal development, we wanted to create a sense of consistency. But now we also know that we really want to emphasize our creativity. So our umbrella goal for this aspect, this focus area, is to explore and nurture my creativity regularly. Okay, great. The next step is going to be career. Career, we're going to make it purple. So we want to grow and learn in our career. This could be completing a certification, and another thing that might help us grow and to keep learning is to develop a new skill. I would say by improving my presentation design. Amazing. The next one that we're going to go to is going to be, I have to do financial as green, is going to be fitness. So we want to focus on that health, that energy aspect. We are going to do this by building strength. That's key. Because your umbrella goals are, what do you want to accomplish long term? Focusing, think about it in terms of a yearly basis. That really helps you to set up those goals accordingly, and it'll help you make that progress that you want to keep you motivated. So we are going to actually start with building strength, build endurance, I would also say a key to this is going to be to establish a keyword here, sustainable workout habit. And then the next pathway that we're going to carry over is that financial pathway. And so if we are trying to establish that financial stability, what would be something that you can work towards this year to help you reach that? Well, one thing could be to create financial security by building an emergency savings fund. By building an emergency savings fund. And then I need one more color here. Pink. Do I have pink? Perfect. Perfect. Pink for relationships, because that is this last one here. Okay, so now listing those umbrella goals for relationships, I would say we really want to focus on, we have laughing at the dinner table, we have finding our roots, strengthen, and stay connected with close friends and loved ones. Amazing. So you see how we have set up our umbrella goals by really taking everything we did in section 1 and just highlighting the key areas, those key focus areas, turning them into our pathways, and then being able to set up a long-term goal that we can work on throughout a monthly and weekly basis. Now, the next step in this process, before we get to the next step of where we break them down, is I want you to start by carrying them over into the different pathways. So this is going to allow you that opportunity to visualize all of them at once. And so that way, when we get to that breakdown, you can pull from whichever ones you are ready to work on. Let me show you more of what I mean. I am going to take now, I'm trying to find my orange. This is the orange color I was looking for. We are going to start by highlighting that personal development. I love a good color coding system. It just makes me be able to visualize it better. So now I want you to take those umbrella goals and list them out. So I'm just going to start with the way that we have them, personal development. And we are going to list a little circle to symbolize a checkbox. Establish and maintain an evening routine. The next one, read 24 books this year. And then you also see how down here it is a separate line, but it still goes under the personal development pathway. That's an important note. So under this pathway, you are going to list explore and nurture my creativity regularly. Regularly. And so here, we just took everything we wrote and we just summed it up. We combined it so it makes it long-term easier to visualize. And we're going to continue that process for each pathway. So career, I like to do a little bullet so I can check it off at some point. Complete a certification. And then develop a new skill by, what did we write? Improving my presentation design. And then that is what we wrote. So that is what we wrote so far for career. Amazing. Now we're going to move on to that fitness pathway. And we are going to write the first one is going to be build strength. And then the second bullet will say build endurance, because these are two separate things. And we will accomplish them in different methods. And the third one is going to be to establish, I've meant to write workout here, a sustainable workout habit. Establish a sustainable workout habit. Amazing. Next, we're going to jump to that financial box. And we will write, create financial security. Create financial security by building an emergency savings fund. Oh my gosh, no way, Belle. That's incredible, though. See, that is how we are on this journey together. I'm happy to hear that. Belle said, I feel like you're filling out my planner. Those are some of my goals. And then the last one that I'm going to establish is going to be under that relationships. And in this, we are going to list strengthen and stay connected with close friends and loved ones. Now, when you take a step back, you might be like, oh, you forgot a pathway. I did not. Because let's take a step back for a second and think back to when we were filling out our plate. When we were filling out our plate, during our reflection, we noticed that we were spending a lot of time in our health and wellness. So we actually decided, I am not going to make this a priority. In terms of when I was writing health and wellness, this is different than that fitness. This connects differently. So I just wanted to point out that it is different. It's different than focusing on that mindfulness, focusing on that health and wellness connection. Because now that you've established that, you want to maybe level up your fitness so your physical energy aligned with your mental energy. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. And who knows, you can always go back and add a health and wellness goal. If when you rebalance your plate at some point, you notice that, oh, now I got to realign it. I feel like I'm missing out. Let's add that in. But for this moment in time, you're confident with what you're doing and you don't feel the need to add that goal in right this second. Now, I'm going to have you put your planner just a little bit to the side, and I'm going to have you go to step 4 in your worksheets. One question we get asked a lot is to clarify, how do I break down my monthly and weekly action or my umbrella goal on a monthly and weekly basis? And the answer is by setting up monthly and weekly action items, which I will walk through in your planner because we will take this and then apply it to our planner layout. But it's important to understand the concept behind it first. So what we are going to do is take the pathways, and you can use the worksheet, you can use the planner you just filled out. I'm going to just hold this right here so you guys can see it. And you are going to ask yourself, what can I do this month to move closer to accomplishing my umbrella goal? That becomes your monthly action item. And then you actually break it down even further into measurable weekly action items. These right there are what keep you committed to reaching that monthly action item. But I want to walk you through what that means. So let's take the example that we have right here. Our pathway focus is personal development. So let's say you wrote personal development on the previous page. Your umbrella goal is to read 12 books this year. But you can't stop there. You actually have to make a plan. So on a monthly basis, you ask yourself, if my goal is to read 12 books this year, based on where I'm at right now, what do I need to do this month to reach this goal? And so if you have been consistent this month, you are going to read 1 book. And then you take it a step further and you ask yourself, okay, if I am trying to read 1 book this month, how can I establish that into my daily life? Practically, let's decide to read 25 pages every night or 5 nights a week. That is how you are going to move through each of your goals. What we have you do on this worksheet is understand different action items that could apply to different pathway and umbrella goals that you've set up. And I'm going to walk you through this in your planner once we establish this so it's even more clear for you. But let's take a look at some of our specific examples. Okay. First of all, we have personal development. So I'm going to start by carrying down personal development. And I'm going to use the same colors just so it coordinates even more. So personal development will be our first example. Now, if you know that this month you want to focus on personal development, that's amazing. That is step 1. But then you need to ask yourself, what specifically am I working on? Let's start with that umbrella goal of establish and maintain a consistent evening routine. Okay. Now, on a monthly basis, you are going to, if you are choosing to work on this goal, see, okay, what monthly action item, what can I do this month to help me progress towards this long-term umbrella goal? Well, if you are trying to build that consistency, you really need to start. So you are going to practice my evening routine regularly this month. So that is how you start. But you have to take it one step further. The key word here is going to be the word measurable. You could say on your weekly, let's say your monthly action item, again, practice my evening routine regularly this month. If your weekly action item, just to give you an example of why that keyword measurable is so important, what if you just wrote for your weekly action item, go to bed at a consistent time, or do my skincare at night? So if I do my skincare one night this week, that technically would check off my weekly action item, but that's not building that consistency that we're looking for. Another example would be in this personal development goal. If you are trying to read one book this month, you do not want your weekly action item to be start book. Because, great, you read the prologue. That's not going to help you build this long-term progress. So instead, in this instance, you are going to measure it by reading 25 pages a night. Or in this instance, let's decide that during the weekdays, you are going to set your phone down at 9 p.m. And you are going to be in bed reading by 10. So you see how here we have taken a monthly action item that we are working towards and broken it down into a weekly action item that we can measure. So we will know if this is working or not. There is a chance that maybe 9 p.m. is too early. Maybe it's too late. Maybe you find that you actually need, because you are going to bed at 10, but if you're on your screen at 9, you have to learn what's going to work best for you. And that's a part of the process. Let's run through some more examples because this is a great way to understand how you can establish measurable action items. So let's go next to, I'm going to do a career example next. Or actually, I'll walk you through how you could do each of the ones that we established as well. So we're going to go next to that personal development goal. Okay. What is our umbrella goal that we specifically want to work on? I would say we are going to break down, I don't want to break down the read 24 books just because we talked a lot about that. So instead, let's focus on explore and nurture my creativity regularly. Explore and nurture my creativity regularly. Hey, Jenna. So now I want you to ask yourself, okay, I am working on my creativity regularly. Well, on a monthly basis, how am I going to do this? Let's set aside time weekly. I'm going to do that in parentheses to experiment with new ideas or to create and experiment. Amazing. Now, how are we going to know if we are successful in this? How are we going to know if we are really making that progress towards this monthly action item goal on a weekly basis? So let's decide to be as measurable as possible. We are going to schedule 2 creative sessions at night this week to try watercolor. Now, that is a great start. I am going to challenge us to take it one step further. Because your weekly action item could be I am so happy to hear that, Jenna. Jenna said that she loves the more intricate deep dive into the umbrella goals. Me too. Let's say that you are scheduling those 2 creative sessions. Challenge yourself to now see, okay, when am I going to get these done? So I want you to actually change that goal a little bit. I want you to schedule 2 creative sessions at night. Let's break it down. Let's do it on a Tuesday and Thursday. Actually, let's do it on a Monday and Wednesday because Tuesday nights, you're joining our reading sprints. Amazing. Now you are going to know if that's getting done or not. It's those little changes that make success more attainable. I'm going to do another example, and I want to walk you through a little more of a challenging one that people might struggle with breaking down. So for example, let's start with that career pathway. We're going to move on to career. So taking a look at what we have for our umbrella goals, let's work on completing a certification. Amazing. So that is what we want to focus on this year. Great. What am I going to get done this month? Let's take a look at what we're working on and practically decide how many modules could you get done this month based off of how busy you are, everything that's going on. Well, 2 full modules sounds realistic. So complete 2 full modules, because I also want you to take into consideration if you would look at that certification and you see, oh, I have 24 total, is that right? Yeah, 24 total modules. If I were to do 2 a month, I would be able to get this certification done. So let's complete this month 2 full modules and their quizzes. I guess we should even be more specific. We want to pass those quizzes. We don't want to just take them. So if this is your monthly action item, how can we be extra specific and make progress this week on it? Well, let's watch the advanced tutorials. Oh, sorry. Let's schedule, or I guess, hold on. The way it would be set up would be, we're just gonna undo that. I meant the word schedule. I didn't mean watch. We're just gonna cross that out. Never happened. No big deal. We are going to schedule 3 45 to 60 minute study sessions. And study sessions is just what we're going to call that time that we are spending working on the certification. And again, let's be extra specific. Well, you know that you have some free time Monday morning. Wednesday afternoon and Friday afternoon. That is how you make that extra specifications towards your goals. Yes. Wait, when you do the weekly actions through the month, are you breaking them further each week? So the way that, I want to make sure I'm understanding your question correctly. I'm going to walk you through it in the planner as well in just a moment, but the way that you are going to do it is you have that, it depends, because the way it's set up is that it's not like a stepping stone. It's not like I have to do this and then I can do this. Anything can be done in an order. So what you do is you take that monthly action item of complete 2 full modules and pass their quizzes, and then one weekly action item could be scheduling in these sessions on these days of the week. Your next week could be the same thing if that's going to help you reach that monthly action item. It can change along the way. Does that help answer your question? Because great question. It's going to depend a little bit. I'm trying to think of an example. Let's say, trying to think of an example. I have another example. Oh, like September. Yes. Okay. Let me take, oh my gosh, don't be sorry. It's such a great question. I'm trying to think about the best example I can use to walk you through this. I am thinking, I think a fitness example would help clarify this. I think that this is how I can explain this and answer your question. So we're going to start by doing it on the worksheet, and then let me carry that one into the planner for you. So let's say our pathway focus is fitness. And we are really focusing on building our strength. But we're going to build strength and establish a consistent workout habit. So, what would our monthly action item be? Our monthly action item would be to establish a workout plan for this month. Okay. So we are going to start, one weekly action item could be, you are going to start with go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, let's say Friday. And each day has a different purpose. So, for instance, let's say Monday is going to be arms and back. Wednesday is going to be legs. And then Friday is going to be arms and chest / shoulders. This is going to help, I think, clarify what you're asking, Jenna. So, and it's actually a great segue into how I wanted to take you guys into your planner. So what I want you to do is, let's flip to September. You are going to take a look. It can be in that Umbrella Goal Planning page that we have already set up. It could also be, I encourage you to grab that worksheet you just did. And you are going to see this month, let's start off by asking ourselves, what do I want to work on? What do I have time for? Let's say in this instance, it's fitness. Okay, so you take that umbrella goal pathway, and then you decide on what umbrella goal specifically you want to be focusing on. We already have this listed out, and that is going to be build strength and establish a consistent workout habit. Amazing. Then you get to, again, ask yourself that question we've already identified the answer for. What do I do this month to help me reach this goal? You are going to establish a workout plan to try. Okay. I think I actually wanted to make this a little more specific, and we are just going to add in, because I was thinking about how you would go about choosing a measurable monthly action item. We are going to be even more specific by focusing on the gym aspect of our workout plan. And this is going to help clarify that question for the gym. Okay. So that is how you decide, this month I am working on fitness. Now, you will also have that opportunity to decide, do I want to choose another pathway to focus on this month? In this example, I'm going to stick with that fitness focus. But you could choose to also focus on personal development. In this example, I'm going to then go to the week and I'm going to carry over the pathway that we're focusing on. And that's going to be fitness. So let's say this is week 1 of us deciding we are ready to reach our monthly action item. You want to carry over that monthly action item of establish a workout plan to try for the month. Now, ask yourself, in order to do this, what am I going to do this week? We have already answered the question on our worksheet together for week 1. So let's say your first weekly action item is you are going to do, I'm trying to figure out how I want to write this because I want it to just look a little more organized. We are going to have it be go to the gym. And we're going to be extra specific. So on Monday, we are going to do arms and back. Wednesday, we are going to focus on leg day. And then on Friday, we're going to focus on arms and chest / shoulders. Okay. I encourage you guys to, once you do this, to go ahead and schedule in those into your planner. So for instance, if you know on Monday you're only going to have time to go to the gym at night before dinner, add that into your planner. So I'm just going to do that here. And I want you to, if you can, write a time. And maybe you find that Wednesday night might be kind of busy for you, so you want to focus on Wednesday morning. Great, because Wednesday, oh, maybe that's my craft night. Let's do the gym Wednesday morning. So you're going to go before work and do leg day. And then Friday, you are going to do the same thing. You start work a little later maybe, so you can push that to 7 o'clock. Now, Jenna asked a great question. Well, what do you do to carry it over on a weekly basis? Do you make it more in depth? Do you change it? The answer is going to be different for everyone. And that's the trickiest part when it comes to goals. Because, for instance, after you've done week 1, you might not I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this because you want to make sure that you are building that consistency. And so with a goal like this, it might be most helpful to do 2 weeks straight of this. It might be most helpful if you find, you know what, I am not going to be able to keep this up long term. Let's change it up a little bit. I want you guys to be using these to establish that consistency. That's the only way that this is going to work. So we are going to then take it to the next week. And Jenna, let me know if if this is helping you. I just want to make sure. So let's say you take that fitness goal. Okay? You are going to keep your monthly action item of establish a workout plan. To try for the month. Okay. Now, let's say you found that you went to the gym Friday morning and it was packed. And you were like, well, I'm not going to want to do this again. I don't like this. I'm tired on Fridays. Great. Let's change this up. Let's establish, because you need to make it consistent for you. So let's say Monday nights are great. Monday, 5:30, gym. And you're going to do arms and back still. Now, you did some reflecting because that's important when it comes to your goals each week. And you said, you know what? Wednesday morning, I'm still going to stick to that leg day. But then you said, Friday, I'm not going to go to the gym. I know myself long term, and that's just not going to work for me. But you know what would work for me and where I have time in my schedule is Thursday nights. So you know what? You are going to book a class at the gym Thursday nights. And you're going to do the one that targets upper strength training. So maybe that's going to be different depending on obviously classes and stuff. So let's just call it like a tone class for upper or all in one. But do you see how that is adjusting your weekly action items accordingly? I want to make sure that answers that question because I think that's an important one to really understand. I also do like to draw an arrow here to showcase that we are breaking it down. Because there is one more option here that you can also do. And that is you could decide, let's say in addition to fitness, you want to focus on your reading goal. Let's do a very clear example. So I'm going to grab the orange because that is our personal development category. So we are going to grab personal development here. And I'm going to write personal development. So this month, we already established that our umbrella goal is to read 24 books. And we already established that this month, we want to read 2 books. Now, there is a chance that when you flip it and when you start your month off, you might only focus on one goal. That is a-okay. But I want to show you another option. Once you do this and you feel confident in it, you could add a goal. You could add into your monthly action item. So if I'm trying to read 2 books, you need to read 150 pages of one book this week. I didn't leave enough space for myself, to be totally honest here, so pardon me, guys. I'm going to just do it on this week if you don't mind. I'm just trying to show you an example and I didn't leave myself enough room. Doesn't matter. But let's just say this first week, you really want to add in that second goal. This still aligns with my example that I'm trying to showcase, is that you could carry over that monthly action item of read 2 books. But that means you need to be doing something this week to help you reach that goal. So this week, if your book, find the page number, let's say it's a 300-page book, you are going to want to read 150 pages total. And I would actually break that down even further. And I'm just going to quickly do this math because I don't know it off of the top of my head, but I would do 150 divided by 5. 30. Great. So we are going to read 30 pages Monday through Friday. Amazing. Schedule that in. So you are going to do it after the gym. It could even be an audiobook. So you could count it as listening to a certain amount of time. And I want you to write it every single day that you're going to do it. Even if it's repetitive, it doesn't matter because I'm going to show you one last step that I recommend. And okay, Jenna, I'm glad you say that. I was really hoping that made things clearer for you because this is the time, you guys, to ask those questions. It's really important. And it also gives me a better sense of what needs more explaining. And then the next week you flipped in, you said, you know what? I don't really want to focus on reading this week. That's okay. Let me push that. Or you naturally know to do it. You can choose to focus on different goals each week. It's just going to help with that consistency because if you're finding that life's so busy right now, your kids are back to school, you can't really establish it all right now, that is okay. There is a chance that maybe next month you try to read 3 books to reach your goal. Certain months are going to have a better fit for each. The fitness one is the one you were needing. I'm happy to hear that. We can always talk through a specific example as well if there's any questions. Like if there is ever any time that you guys are like, I need help breaking down this goal, let me know. I also want to highlight one more factor that's really important. I don't know the answer to that, Belle. I will have to think about that. My other tip for you guys when it comes to your goal planning is to track it. So I want you to track if you are really focusing on reading 30 pages a night. I want you to track it here. So I am going to read 30 pages. And every time I do that, I am going to check it off. So you did that night 1, amazing. I want you to hold yourself accountable. This is how you build that consistency to visualize your growth. It keeps you motivated and it keeps you working towards it. I would also recommend then for the gym, here is another suggestion. We talked about having different gym schedules, but also different classes. So you know what you're going to do is I want you to color code based off of the activity you're doing that day. Let me get more specific on that. I'm going to start with listing the activities and then coloring it in. So we are going to go with, let's write in the gym, but I want us to really visualize it even more. And we are going to do gym. We can categorize it as upper because we don't need to separate whether it's arm and back or arm and chest. I think that's less important. I think it's the fact that you're there working on your upper that's more important, but that's just me. And then I would also say gym lower. And then we also talked about that class. So you know what we're going to do next is we are going to write in class at gym. And you can either make it the specific class, you can insert the name there. This right here is going to also help you. I challenge you all for those fitness goals to make the class, book the class ahead of time. And then you can color it in ahead of time as well. And then what you do is you go and just color it in accordingly. This is how you visualize your progress. You break down your goals over time and you find what you enjoy doing. And what's also great is with these worksheets that we have for you guys, you will notice that when you go to that last page, you have more space to break down your goals. So if you ever need to brainstorm, really work through different goals, however many you have set up, you have that opportunity. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of these worksheets. They really do help you understand fully how to set up section 1 of your defined planner and then take it into a daily, to those monthlies and weeklies. And that is exactly how I would go about using our Umbrella Goal Planning system in your own defined planner. So I want to make sure that before this class wraps up, that if there's any lingering questions or anything that you're wondering about, that you get the opportunity to ask. So you guys, let me know right now if there's any other questions that I can help answer when it comes to your Umbrella Goal Planning. How does everyone feel about their goals and their progress? Oh no, I haven't seen any comments. Oh, Shauna, good, I'm glad. Oh, Jenna, I haven't seen any comments from you. That's so frustrating. Yes, those shapes and zigzags, that is another great option for the colors. Oh no, I don't like when it filters, you guys. How can I? Oh, thank you for deep diving. Okay. Absolutely. And you guys, if any of you came in late or you get stuck later on, I am going to upload this to the tube right afterwards. And so that will be up there for you as well. And some other videos giving you a shorter walkthrough will be up hopefully next week. I'm working on those as well. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. This has been such a helpful exercise, and this is going to set us all up for success. So again, if any questions come up, just let me know. It's always what I'm here for. And until I talk to you guys next, I want you all to keep navigating each day with purpose. Thank you for showing up for yourself today, you guys. Have an amazing night, and I'll talk to you all in just a little bit. Good night or good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to hear that, Shauna. That's exactly what we want. I'll talk to you guys all in a little bit. Bye, everyone.